Okay, everybody, so welcome back. This is Ian from Mindful Marketplace, and this is our brand new tiny community of authors, artists, makers, marketers, teachers, trainers, whatever it is that you can imagine creating in 2022. This community is designed to empower and inspire you to help you build it. So, or make it. And we have different people in this community who are interested in different things. Some are building platforms, some are creating products, some are focused on writing books, some are focused on cultivating clients. And I want to share a really simple four-step heuristic or template that has been really, really helpful for all of these use cases for me. I'd also like to remind those of you who are not part of our community just yet, if you sign up for any of our courses in the next, let's say I'm recording this on the 17th of December, in the next 2 weeks, you'll get access to our tiny community as part and parcel. That if you don't, it's going to be in January a members only fee based private community. So if you've had any benefit or gotten any benefit from the many videos and audios and PDFs that I've offered on YouTube and otherwise, you may want to consider signing up now if you're interested in being part of our journey in 2022. It's going to be a much pricier proposition in January than it is right now. So, again, if you sign up for a course in the next 2 weeks, you'll get access to, or you have to sign up actually for our all access pass course, which gives you pretty much access to everything else. I'm not going to be offering courses on a la carte basis going forward. You either get it all or you get nothing. So if you're interested, check that out below. All right, so let's look really quickly at this four-step process I call strategy, structure, sequence, and story. And essentially, regardless of whether you're creating art or an ebook or you're creating a platform or you're targeting clients, this heuristic will help you simplify and you know expedite the process of building your brand. All right, strategy number one. What's the big idea? What does it look like from 30,000 feet? It's also worth considering, especially if you're in the product or course creation business, as I know some of you are. What problem does it solve? What pain does it pop? What hurt does it heal? And how does your big idea land in the service of helping some segment of the universe, which in this case ought to be your ideal audience or quintessential client? How does it help their lives become either better, easier, or more exciting? Number two, structure. What goes where and why? What does your product or project look like on paper or pixel? And I simply recommend that you graph it out, map it out, draw it out, whatever, sort of sense door is easiest for you to use to kind of, map all this stuff out. I like to use these sorts of worksheets that you're looking at here. I know other people like to draw it out. I've also done that as well, where you're actually just creating a map, so to speak, of what everything looks like on paper or again pixel, and you have a sense of what everything that you need to incorporate into your project or platform or community requires, or you can visually see it. Sequence: what goes when and why. So, what dominoes need to fall in which order for your project or product to be successful? And this sounds like it can be sort of really simple and maybe worth skipping, but I find that when you actually incorporate the sequence, like what goes when and why, what levers need to be pulled in what order for things really to get off the ground in the most impactful way possible. When you actually do that, it really changes your entire workflow. Like I see, even in my own experience, my own life, I'll often work on things so out of sequence that it doesn't really give a I don't get a real strong sense of what it's going to actually look like or feel like, or the excitement is diminished when I kind of work on, let's say, the landing page for, or a Facebook ad, let's say, is a good example. Like, I've created many Facebook ads in my day before I've actually created the thing that I'm going to be giving away once people click on that Facebook ad. Or I may create the landing page or the email opt-in page for the thing before I actually write the ad or create the giveaway or the lead magnet, or whatever the right phrase that you want to use here is, right? Or the ebook or the offer. So when I do things out of sequence, I find that I often don't follow through in the way that I would like to. And certainly I see people in my own entrepreneurial orbit doing this or making this mistake all the time. So when you actually sequence everything out and you know that you have to actually, create the ad, and then, or create the email offer first, create the ebook first, then create the email opt-in page, then create the ad, then create the email sequence before you create. I mean, when you actually see all this visually and do it the right way, it adds a lot of real world. Um, what's the right word? It adds like a real sense of this. I can do this. I see it. I see how everything looks. I see how everything needs to actually come together and in what particular order. And when I automate things this way, this is how things are going to actually look. So my dogs are going bananas behind me. I don't know if people can hear that. I have one extra dog that's noticing the bananas dogs in the backyard. So you might actually start to hear a little Pomeranian go berserk. Hopefully it doesn't happen. It hasn't happened yet. So hopefully she can hold her barking for another 30 seconds. All right. The last element of this is story. Why it matters to you and why it ought to matter to the rest of us. And this is the animating reason why your project needs to be in the world. Why you, why me, and why now, right? So try to answer those questions. Why you, why me as your target audience, and why now? Like, all those little elements are really, really important and will give you a lot of clarity with respect to actually creating an engaging story that persuades and inspires and empowers people to want to actually participate in your product, in your community, in your client, in your lead acquisition, strategy. I mean, obviously, don't frame it like that, but having you know a reason why what you're doing is actually important. It's important to you, it's important to me, and why right now is the moment that this all needs to come together for both of us to maximize our results. All right, so there's a simple 4-step checklist. There are many of these that I use, but this one I keep coming back to, especially actually all these elements. There's not especially one over the other. I think that mapping everything out is really important. And I also think that having a story about why it matters. If you're working with me personally, you probably know that or you can attest to the fact that I will always, try to identify what it is about what you're building that actually is meaningful to you and why it's meaningful to you, and to bake that in to the DNA of what it is that you're putting out into the world, because people are really persuaded by passion and a sense of purpose. And I think if you're just simply creating things to make money, and you're telling me that it's going to make money and it's going to make money for you as the provider or the creator, it's not so interesting to anybody really. It just has a very meh sort of kind of valence to it. Whereas if there's something that you're creating that has personal resonance for you, and that has a meaningful kind of backstory or origin story, and can also, that passion that you have will permeate in my life as well, or into the product, into the course, into the community, and it will change my life as well by dint of participating. You're going to do far better than skipping the story altogether. Teach what you know, do what you love, wake up the world with your work. Thank you so much for watching. Again, our new community is a tiny community of creators, authors, teachers, makers, marketers, artists, enlightened entrepreneurs, inspirational, creators of all kinds. And if you really want to build some cool and interesting things in 2022 and make a full-time living being a creative human being, creating products that people actually enjoy, want to buy, and build your own tribe and following and all that sort of good stuff as well. I really encourage you to join us. It's the most excited I've been about anything in a couple of years, and I'm spending pretty much all of my time and attention when I'm not doing these sorts of things on building out this whole process. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, have a wonderful day.